In the following days we see Toya and his girls. They were fighting against two mithril golems. The golem threw a huge rock at them, but they dodged the attack in time. Yahe then tried to attack a golem and her katana sword was broken. Toya was shocked by their defenses and came up with a plan to destroy them. Then Toya used his gate spell and he teleports the golem to the sky. After that, he used his cell phone to check where the golem will land. As a result, the mithril golems fell from heaven. Then Toya and his girls used all the Axel spell. The golems were badly damaged and the girls immediately attacked together. After Lindsay cast her spell, her twin sister Elsa attacked the golem. The first golem was defeated and Yumina cast a spell too. She destroyed the second golem with her lightning javelin spell. However, the two strong mithril golems were defeated by Toya's group, and they collected the magic orbs. As a result, they managed to complete their quest. They then returned to Toya's mansion, and he was immediately greeted by Reen and Cecile. Toya said that their group defeated mithril golems successfully, and almost all of them were promoted to red rank adventurers. Then Toya realized that he had forgotten his servant Francesca. He immediately picked her up in the Garden of Babylon. However, she was angry with her master, and she teased Toya for his recklessness. Then Toya apologized to Francesca for his behavior. After that, Leon wanted to talk about the magic circles of Babylon. Toya was surprised that she really wants to find the other parts of Babylon. So Toya said that, if she finds any clues, he will help her to find the magic circles of Babylon. Suddenly Toya got a call from God, so he teleports to the God realm. God invited Toya to his home, because he wanted to know if Toya enjoys his life with Almighty Riz. Toya replied that he is very thankful for getting so much Riz. Then God wanted to give Toya a new iPhone, but Toya replied that his current iPhone is perfectly fine. Meanwhile, the goddess of love looked at his phone. She asked why he didn't have his fiancées as his home screen. Toya thought it would be embarrassing, but he was lectured by the goddess of love. She said that he should immediately change his home screen with the picture of his girls, and he was persuaded by both gods to take a picture of his fiancées at home. Meanwhile, his girls were relaxing with a bath. Else looked at her engagement ring, and Yumina said that she loves Toya's engagement ring too. Lindsay also liked the ring. The rings are special, and gave the girls power to use skills like the Excel spell and item box. Yahe agreed that the rings are very beautiful and useful at the same time. Then Yumina said that Toya is a great and handsome man. Everyone agreed with Yumina's opinion, and she said that people will want to take advantage of the good-natured Toya in the future. She then said that they have to take good care of Toya, to protect Toya from evil people. Also Yumina said that they all knew about the almighty Riz power of Toya, so they should prepare themselves, that he will get more fiancés in the future. In the following days we see Toya and Yahe. They were in Ishin. Toya commissioned the blacksmith to make a mithril katana sword. Then Yahe wanted to hold hands with Toya. Toya was overwhelmed by her cuteness, and he blushed by looking at her cute face. As a result, they held hands together, and Yahe enjoyed their time together as a couple. In the afternoon, Toya visited the royal family with Yumina. Yumina's mother gave her advice as a future wife. Then the king wished Toya good luck with his 4 future wives. Suddenly the king said that he is looking forward for his first grandchildren's. Suddenly, Yumina punched her father because she was embarrassed by his words. After that, Toya learned from Yumina's mother that many will not recognize their engagement. The reason is Toya had no great heroic deeds to show. However, Sushi appeared. She was happy to see her cousin Yumina. Then Toya spent time together with Sushi and the royal family. Later he returned home, and Toya learned that, if the royal family doesn't bear a son in the next time, he will become the next king. Toya then reflected on the queen's words, that he must show heroic deeds to marry Yumina. The next day, Toya visited the Silver Moon Inn, and he learned from his 2 friends that their town have problems, that the tourists didn't want to visit their town. Toya came up with an idea and decided to help them. So Toya built a Japanese onsen at the Silver Moon Inn. Toya then invited all of his friends to try his homemade onsen. His girls were impressed by Toya's onsen, and Yumina teased the 3 shy girls a bit. Then Yumina asked all 3 girls, when they realized they were in love with Toya. Else then replied that she fell in love with him, because he is such a great gentleman and she loves his beautiful eyes. Yumina agreed that Toya got Riz, and she wanted to hear Linza's story. Yahe was looking forward to her story, so Linza said that she fell in love with him, because she was very shy around guys. In addition, Toya always listens to her, and he was very nice, and always shows great interest. As a result, she felt the sense of secrecy around him. Then Lindsay said she doesn't know exactly when she fell in love with him. Afterwards, Yahi shared that she fell in love with Toya when she saw his good nature. She loved that he doesn't judge others and always saves people in need. All the girls confessed their love for Toya, and Elsa wanted to hear Yumina's story. However, Yumina replied that she fell in love with him immediately when they met. The three girls were touched that it was love at first sight for Yumina. Suddenly, Francesca told Toya that she is about to climb over the wall to see him naked. Francesca became paralyzed, and Toya warned the other men not to try to climb over the wall. Suddenly Lean showed up in the men's bathroom. She had clues about the Babylon floating islands. Later, Toya and his friends flew to a ruin that Lean discovered. She was sure to find a magic circle of Babylon. Toya didn't show a lot of interest, and he infuriated Lean. She expected Toya to be more enthusiastic, so she teased him a bit. Then a Fraz appeared, the monster chasing innocent people. Toya decided to help them and came up with a rescue plan. Suddenly the people in need were attacked by the Fraz, but Elsa was able to deflect the attack. The twins wanted to keep the women and men safe. Then Toya opened his gate and Yahe attacked the Fraz. She fell off the Fraz and Toya saved her with his gate spell. The Fraz then fired a laser beam at Toya and his friends. Toya was overwhelmed by the monster and hid behind a rock. Suddenly he ran into a friend that he learned a few days ago. Enda had a great deal of knowledge about the monsters called Fraz. He then teleports to the Fraz and he destroys the monster's body with just one attack. Toya was surprised by Ende's power. Also, Toya's friend destroyed the Fraz's 2 cores. Then Toya inquired about the world barrier, and he learned that there is a barrier in his world that keeps out foreign objects. Enda said that they were able to enter their world through a hole in the barrier, and they are only henchmen's. Then Ende disappeared, and Toya took care of the rescued people. They got drinks and thanked Toya for saving them in the dangerous situation. Toya learned that they group wanted to save the enslaved girls. Also, she said the slave necklace caused a lot of pain and problems for the girls. They wanted to find someone who could remove the slave necklace. Suddenly, the adventurers learned that Toya can remove the dangerous item. Toya used his skill apports, and he freed all the girls from slavery. After that, Toya asked what their next plan is. They said that the girls have no home. Then Yumina appeared, introducing herself as the Princess of the Kingdom Belfast. She said all girls can live in the Kingdom of Belfast. The adventurers and girls thanked Yumina, so Toya allowed the adventurers and the girls to stay in Toya's mansion for the time being. Suddenly Lean asked about the unknown boy. Toya told her that he had met Ende in town. Ende wanted to buy a crepe, but his money was rejected. Toya paid for him, and he showed Ende the guild. Then Toya held the coin of Ende, and Francesca recognized the coin. The coin was created over 5,000 years ago, and Leon found the boy Ende very suspicious. Toya agreed that he is a little bit suspect. Then the girls found out that Toya was hiding something. So Toya told that he had a conversation with the Professor Regina. She told Toya about the demons named Fraz, that they appeared out of nowhere and destroyed the world. Toya apologized for forgetting to tell his girls about it. Then Leon wondered how many Fraz monsters lived 5,000 years ago and why they disappeared. Francesca then told about a weapon named Frame Gear that was built by Professor Regina. Toya was super excited about the new high-tech weapon and he wanted to see the frame gear right away. Following this, Toya was excited to explore the ruins, to find the frame gear weapon. After that, Toya's group went in search of the ruin, and Lean used wind magic on it. Then Toya found a secret room and he couldn't use his gate spell. However, Toya went to the magic circle and he filled the circle with magic, so Toya was teleported to another location. Suddenly, the android Rosetta appeared. Toya learned that he discovered the workshop of Babylon. Then Rosetta learned that Francesca already accepted Toya as compatible. Rosetta then asked perverted questions and asked Toya to guess the color of her panties. As a result, Toya tried to figure out the color of her panties with wind magic. His first attempt failed, and he used fire magic. Rosetta's skirt was magic repellent, so Toya used a newly learned spell. Toya used the long sense spell and found out that her panties are transparent. He shocked, and Rosetta accepted him as her Riz master. Followed, she gave Toya a passionate French kiss to register him as her new master. After that, Toya was shown the workshop of Babylon. The workshop has high technology. Then, arriving in an empty room, Rosetta conjured a device. The device could create objects and tools. Toya then wanted to know if he could copy his gun. Toya wanted to make a mithril gun, and the machine immediately made his new gun. In addition, Rosetta showed that he can customize the design of his gun. Toya was amazed, and he wanted to test his new weapon, but the programming was not copied. In addition, Toya learned that he can also order mass production. After that, Toya wanted to know more about the frame gear. Toya learned that Rosetta was involved in building the gun, but they stored the weapon in a different location. However, Rosetta said that her workshop is much better than the Garden of Babylon. Toya stopped the argument from the two androids, and he asked if the two islands of Babylon could be united. However, Toya arrived at his mansion, and the adventurers apologized to Toya for the rudeness, because Toya is engaged to Princess Yumina. Toya said they can get up, because Cecile was telling them a lot of nonsense. After that, the adventurers asked if Toya had a job for the girls, since they haven't work experience. So Toya came up with a plan for the rescued girls. A few days later we see Toya. He opened a maid cafe. Then the adventurers reported that his idea of opening a maid cafe was a complete success. So the girls got a job, and the adventure group also thanked Toya for their security job. Toya was happy that he was able to use the profits from his bicycle manufacture to raise enough money to open the maid cafe. Then Toya found out that Lindsay had chosen the books that many women love. Toya was surprised and happy that customers can also eat delicious cakes while reading. Afterwards, Will said that he wished he could use special null magic too. Additionally, Will told Toya that his grandpa could use null magic. This is how Toya learned about a new spell called gravity that can affect the weight of a subject. Later, Toya accompanied Yumina to the guild. Yumina was happy to spend time together with Toya. She also wanted to finally rise in rank. They then discovered a quest to go hunt a giant crab. When Toya wanted to apply for the quest, receptionist Prim checked his ID. She told him that she often visits his maid cafe. She then asked if Toya could order a book called The Order of the Rose. Toya found out that there is a whole series of books, and he wanted to order the books for Prim. After that, Yumina told that the book is very pervert. Toya was surprised Lindsay was into gay romance books. Then Toya thought that Yumina also likes to read kinky books. Yumina then replied that she doesn't really like reading such books. Followed, Yumina told Toya that she just happened to know the author of the books. So Toya learned that the eldest daughter of the referee's Imperium is the author of the books. Toya was shocked when Yumina told him that her childhood friend Riri is a perverted book author who writes about gay romance. After that, Toya went hunting for a giant bloody crab. Arriving in the desert, Yumina immediately cast a spell on Mr. Krabs. Then one of Mr. Krabs' leg was shot. Following this, Toya teleports behind the giant crab. Toya used his newly learned gravity spell, and he was able to defeat Mr. Krabs. After the fight, Yumina asked what dish Toya wants to cook with Mr. Krabs. He replied that he plans to cook delicious Krabby Patties. After the quest, they returned to the guild together, and Yumina was promoted to a higher rank. Yumina was happy to be finally ranked Red too. Then Toya said he wanted to go buy the books right away. Suddenly he asked Prim if she could give him a piece of paper that listed many popular books. Then she asked all her friends for ideas that the women wanted to read. Then Prim named them all the popular books that the women like. All the women were looking forward to reading the perverted novels, and Toya was shocked. Then we see the capital of the referee's empire, and Toya was in a bookstore. He showed a woman the books, which he wanted to buy. Then Toya said that he just buy them for his own shop, because he was embarrassed to buy the kinky books. After that, Toya looked at more books, and he heard a girl cry. She was disappointed, because she wanted to buy a kinky books. Unfortunately, Toya had bought almost all of the books. Then Toya found out about the problem, and the girl was looking for the last book in the Rosemagi series. She asked if she could buy it from Toya. Suddenly the girl discovers that Toya had bought the book series, The Order of the Rose. She thought Toya was a fanboy of gay romance. The girl then said that she is the author of a book. She suggested giving him an autograph in exchange for the book, Rosemagi. Toya wasn't interested to make a deal with the girl. The girl thought that Toya considered her as a scammer. Toya tested her and asked if she is the Princess Riri. The princess couldn't believe that Toya knew her true identity. However, Princess Riri thought that Toya wanted to blackmail her and seduce her big brother to get power of the empire. Toya stopped her to fantasize such nonsense and clarified the misunderstanding. This is how Princess Riri learned that Yumina told him her true identity. Also, Toya told her that he is Yumina's fiancé, and Riri was surprised that Toya isn't gay. So Princess Riri was hit on the head again by Toya to stop her from telling such nonsense. He then teleported Yumina to him, and he duplicated the Book of Rosemagi for Princess Riri. Princess Riri was grateful, but still thought Toya was a fanboy of kinky novels. Toya got angry, and Riri understood that she should stop talking now. He then placed the new books in his store, and the girls from the guild were extremely happy. Then they all read the books about gay romance, and Prim thanked Toya for buying all the great books. After that, we see a girl. She asked for a book. Lindsay helped the girl out, so she showed the customer where to find the books. Then Will apologized for not being helpful, and Toya cheered him up. He then thanked Will for teaching him the gravity spell, so Toya wanted to grant him a wish. Will said that he would like to get stronger. Toya immediately realized that he wanted to get stronger to protect his crush. As a result, Toya brought Will to the leader of the knights. Toya asked his friend to help to become stronger. After that, Elsa showed up, and she asked if Toya could teleport her to the Inn Silvermoon, because she wanted to bathe in the onsen there. Toya teleports to Inn Silvermoon, and he talked to Micah. Micah said that her business with the onsen is a great success. Then Merchant Zanuck also showed up. He became a regular at the Silvermoon Inn. He was visiting the onsen every day. Toya then learned that the clothes he had ordered were ready to be delivered. Followed, Toya gave Elsa beautiful Chinese-style clothes. Toya called Elsa pretty, and Elsa blushed in front of Toya. She was happy that Toya gave her beautiful clothes. Suddenly she tripped and Toya activated his Riz power. He had infinite Riz that Elsa looked at him in love. In the days that followed, Lindsay told Toya that author Riel Refrize had released a new book. Toya learned that Princess Riri had written a story about him. Princess Riri wrote in her story that Toya will marry 9 men in the future. Toya was angry, and he wanted to beat her up for writing such nonsense. A few days later, Toya received more requests for ordering books. He wanted to teleport to the Kingdom of Regulus. Toya told Lindsay that he wanted to buy new books right away. Then we see Toya in the Kingdom of Regulus, and Toya saw many peoples in fear. Toya heard screams, and he reinforced his body with the boost spell. Following, Toya discovered enemies who want to kill innocent soldiers. Toya rushed to the rescue of a soldier, and he found an injured guy with white hair. Toya learned that the military were rebel against the kingdom, so Toya healed the guy and he took him to safety. As a result, Toya decided to find the king to save his family. Toya immediately ran to the royal palace. Then he saw many dead soldiers. Suddenly he heard a girl scream. Toya used his new iPhone, and he used Siri to locate the girl's whereabouts. Then a girl was almost killed, but Toya managed to save her in time. Toya then healed her injury with his null magic spell. The rescued princess was in shock, but she calmed down immediately when she felt the Riz of Toya. She was very shy around Toya and blushed. Suddenly Carol appeared. She was happy that the princess was alive. However, Toya told that he is an adventurer of the Kingdom Belfast, who teleported to the town. Carol was surprised that Toya knew teleportation magic. She then asked Toya to teleport the royal family out of the capital. After that, the two introduced themselves, and Toya learned that the rescued girl is Princess Lucia. Then Toya wanted to teleport the princess to Belfast, but she worried about her family members. Toya wanted to help to finding her family. Followed, they searched the palace for Princess Lucia's family. After that, they found King Zephyr in his bedroom. He was injured, and General Bezoar attacked the king. The leader of the military was furious that Lucia and Carol survived. Bezoar then said that he was proposing to cancel the peace contract with Belfast. He wanted to conquer the other lands, and the king was against his plan. So Toya asked if Bezoar had any chance of winning against the other kingdoms. Suddenly, Bezoar revealed his newfound power. Bezoar ate a devil fruit and he could summon a powerful demon. Toya couldn't believe he was a devil fruit user who can control a strong demon. So Bezoar said that he is invincible. In addition, he displayed bracelets that absorbed the magic of his opponents. Toya tried to steal Bezoar's bracelet with a spell. Unfortunately, the demon's skill had negated his magic. After that, Toya attacked with his pistol, but his attack was deflected by another bracelet. Toya understood that he is currently invincible, and he cannot harm him now. Suddenly, Toya noticed that King Zephyr is still alive, so he teleports the royal family and Carol to Belfast. Then Toya said he will come back and stop him. Toya then used the slip spell, and the general couldn't get up. Toya looked down at him, and he made fun of the general. He activated an illusion spell before retreating. Later, Toya reported on the plight of Refri's kingdom. The girls found the situation awful, and they had no idea how to solve the rebellion. Suddenly, Toya replied that he has a nasty plan to defeat General Bezoar. Later he checked on the king, and he told Princess Lucia that her father is recovering. Lucia had a crush on Toya, and she wanted him to call her Lu. Meanwhile, Yumina watched the two. Yumina then introduced herself to Lu, and she noticed that Lu had a crush on Toya. Toya went to the king's mansion, and Lu was sad to learn that Toya had a fiancé. Suddenly, Yumina asked if Princess Lucia is in love with Toya. She understood that Toya is an attractive man. After that, we see Toya talking to the king. Suddenly, Yumina's father said that Yumina's mother is pregnant. He wasn't entirely satisfied, because his original plan was to crown Toya as the next king. After that, Toya went to his workshop on the island of Babylon. He learned from Rosetta that the enemy's bracelets were an invention of Professor Regina. Toya learned that the bracelets is fallen from one of Babylon's island. However, Toya recalled that there were more artifacts that he had seen before. In the evening, King Zephyr woke up and thanked Toya for saving him. Following this, King Zephyr apologized for all the trouble he was causing. Suddenly, Toya said he could retake the capital the next morning. Then Lu asked if Toya could find her big brother first. Followed, Toya asked about his appearance. So Toya used physical contact to get more information. Suddenly, Toya realized that he already have rescued Lu's brother. Toya immediately located the prince with his new iPhone and showed Lu's father the whereabouts of her big brother. Lu and her father were happy that the prince is alive. The next day, Toya decided to retake the capital. So Toya went with his girls and pets to reclaim the capital of the Regulus Kingdom. Toya quickly managed to defeat the enemies, and he got ready to fight the strong demon. The demon attacked Toya, but he was able to dodge all dangerous attacks. Toya then attacked with his sword and managed to overwhelm the demon. Toya defeated the demon with just one punch, because he is also known as One Punch Man. Then his girls appeared, and they defeated the other enemies too. After that, only General Balzoar remained, and he looked down on Toya. Balzoar didn't want to accept his defeat, and Toya conjured up a huge glass box. Then Toya showed slimes that had absorbed sewage, so Toya said they have a disgusting smell. Suddenly, Balzoar was teleported into the box. Balzoar couldn't become the next president of Canada, and he fainted from the stench. As a result, the demon also disappeared. After the fight, the King Zephyr informed his citizens that he had defeated the enemies. He apologized for the trouble caused by the military and said that peace is now restored. After that, Toya went home, and the girls told him that he stinks. Toya said he accidentally touched the slimes and he's going to take a shower right away. In the days that followed, King Zephyr wanted to grant Toya a wish, but Toya said he didn't need a reward. Then King Tristwin said that Toya is very humble. He was glad that he nevertheless agreed to marry his daughter. So King Zephyr had the idea that Toya also marries his daughter Lu. This would strengthen the relationship between the two kingdoms. Suddenly, Yumina interrupted the king's conversation. She said that she had already spoken to Lu, and that Princess Lu would approve of marrying Riz Master Toya. Toya was shocked that he was getting another wife, and Princess Lu was happy that she is now also engaged to Toya. Later, Lu celebrated that she is now officially engaged to Toya as well, and the other girls congratulated her. Afterwards, Toya said he isn't old enough to get married now. The kings replied that they didn't expect them to marry immediately. However, his friend Leon cheered him up. Also, the kings wanted to announce the engagement to the citizens of the kingdoms as soon as possible. Suddenly, Toya found out that he was given a small land between the two kingdoms. He would then become king of the gifted land, and could set the laws. Toya didn't want to be king, but he knew that the two kings leaves him no choice. Then we see Toya and his girls coming up with names for his new kingdom. So Toya decided to name his kingdom Brunhilda. After that, they considered coming up with a plan for their move to their own nation. So Toya considered building a new mansion. Suddenly Lu appeared. She made up for Toya. Toya said she looks cute in her outfit. However, Lu suggested that Toya could build a castle, because he will be a future king. Toya looked at castles, but he had no idea about the constructions. So Rosetta appeared to help her master. Below we see Toya in the workshop of Babylon. Rosetta told him that he can build a castle in his workshop. As a result, Toya was overwhelmed with a lot of information. He got angry, and Lu gave Toya a great idea of building their castle. In the days that followed, we see the new castle was built. Toya was shocked that Rosetta was able to completely build a castle in just 3 days. Then Rosetta showed the girls around their new home. Suddenly, Lean appeared behind Toya. She is surprised that he is now becoming a king. Toya said he doesn't want to be the future king of his own nations, or the king of Belfast. He said there is also the possibility of not becoming a king if Yumina gets a little brother. Leon then said that she became the ambassador of Mistmead. Later, Toya built a teleportation room. Reen also appeared, and Toya wanted to test his teleportation room. So Toya asked Reen to put her hand on the door. As a result, a portal opened, and Toya's new invention was a complete success. Suddenly Reen showed him a letter. He was called to King Tristwin. Followed, he met the king of Fraz. He wanted to establish good relations between Toya's new nation. However, Toya thought that he must marry the perverted princess Riri. The king said his daughter is already engaged to someone, and Toya was relieved. Following, he said that he would be happy if Toya would show him around his new nation Brunhilda. Toya saw through the two, they just wanted to go on vacation. Over the next few weeks, Toya turned his new castle into a holiday paradise. He built many games for entertainment. The girls were happy to test the new games, and they had a lot of fun. Then Toya relaxed with Francesca on the massage seats, and Toya was called by Elsa. She played mahjong with the other girls, and Elsa was a pro mahjong player. Toya was shocked, and he couldn't believe that she played mahjong for the first time. After that, all his fiancées were relaxing on the massage seats, and the maids cleaned the rooms. Tsubaki then showed up for a visit. Toya was happy to see her again. Then Toya learned that they have problems back in Ishin. Tsubaki said that a tyrant has appeared, who is trying to enslave the people. They couldn't do something against him. As a result, the generals of the Takeda clan all wanted to take refuge in the new nation of Toya. Toya didn't mind, and he allowed them to move into his new nation. In the afternoon, the Takeda generals thanked Toya for allowing them to move into his new nation. Followed, Toya asked if he can meet the fourth general. Following this, Toya met General Kosaka, who wanted to help Toya establish trade relations. So he gave Toya a lot of advice, and they built roads, fields, and new houses on his land. Toya managed to build a small village for the new residents in just a short time. In addition, he had built a path for tourists to visit his new city too. Then we see Lu. She was still nervous, because she didn't want to be a burden to Toya. So the other girls cheered her up, and she was looking forward. A few days later, Toya continued to build his new nation, and the children were greeting Toya. Then Lu showed up. She cooked him a delicious bento for lunch. She was nervous since it was her first time cooking a bento. Toya replied that her food is delicious. Then Toya said she looks cute, and she blushed. In the days that followed, Toya's holiday paradise for the royal family started. They all had a great time at Toya's new home. Then Leon said that Toya had performed a miracle, because he had united many kingdoms. Then Sushi showed up. She wanted to play with Toya. The other kings also wanted to play with Toya. In the evening, Toya created a fireworks and told the knights that nobody is attacking them. So the royal families watched the beautiful fireworks, which was created with bombs. After that, Lu thanked Toya, because she was happy to experience such a nice time with him. Suddenly, Toya gave her an engagement ring, and she was proud to be Toya's fiancé. Then Toya proved he's a true Rizzler, and he knew Lu wanted to hold his hands. A few days later, we see Toya's group in a huge cave on the mountains. They were looking for Santa Claus, but they only found a new ruin. Then Toya jumped into a secret trapdoor. He discovered another Babylon ruin. So he transmitted his magic in the teleportation circle. Toya was teleported to a room in Babylon, and he found a building. Suddenly, Bellflora introduced herself. She told him about the Alchemy Ward, and Toya was surprised by her big boobs. Toya then related that he was accepted as a master by the other guardians of the Babylon Islands. Flora could sense his Riz aura, and she wanted to test him. So she forced Toya to massaging her breasts. Toya was overwhelmed, and he was recognized as her new master. After the kiss, Toya couldn't believe that he had received another perverted servant. Toya was shocked by the passionate kiss he got from Flora. After that, Toya was shown around the Alchemy Ward. He then learned that many different medicines are manufactured in the laboratory. Then Flora showed him a room full of potions that invoke special abilities. Followed, Toya learned that Professor Regina made many different sexual enhancers. Later on, Lean was disappointed that they didn't find the Library of Babylon. Then the other girls met Flora, and the girls were jealous of her big breasts. Yahi tried to calm Yumina and Lu, and she cheered them up. After that, Leon said Toya could help the growing of their breasts if they massaged them. Suddenly, Flora confessed that Toya kissed her and massaged her breasts. The girls got angry, and he apologized to them. When he got home, Reen brought him his newly ordered books, and he wanted to learn a new magic. Following this, Toya tried to cast outside of his home the spell Fly. He could learn it immediately, so Toya flew into the sky. Toya became Super Toya, and he could fly through the sky at super speed with ease. After using the spell, he felt sick and rested on Elsa's lap. She asked him if he could cast the fly spell on her. Toya replied that it isn't possible to transfer the spell to another person. He said he could carry her in his arms while flying. Suddenly, Toya remembered that he can use the levitation spell. As a result, he made Elsa levitate, and they could fly together. Elsa was impressed by Toya. Toya then said that he learned the spells to fight against the Fraz demons. Then he flew in the sky and he discovered his friends. So Toya welcomed his new residents to his Brunhilda kingdom. Suddenly God called him, and on the phone the goddess of love wanted to talk with Toya. The goddess of love saw that he was in love mode, so she suggested that he should now spend a lot of time with his fiancée. The goddess of love wished him good luck with his wives. In the afternoon, Toya met Yahei's parents, and they gave Toya their blessing. Then Toya said he was glad not to fight against his father. Suddenly her father got the idea to test Toya's power, but Yahei didn't want them to fight. Yahei's parents could see the passion of their love. As a result, Yahei's parents wished them both to be happy together. Followed then, Toya visited Elsa and Linz's family. The twins' uncle Toya thought he would be punished by the new king. The daughter then apologized that he was talking nonsense. Toya immediately tried to calm him down, and Aunt Lana understood why her niece loved Toya. She understood that he is a very good-hearted boy. Then Toya was asked if he is strong as the king of their nation. Toya was asked if he can defeat strong bears. So he found out about the monster problem, and he wanted to go get rid of it later. After the hunt of the bears, Toya drank tea at his cafe. Suddenly Ende appeared, and Toya asked him about the Fraz. Ende told him that the Fraz come from another world looking for a special core. The demons attack humans because the core of their king is hidden in a human. The king of Fraz communicates with sounds, but the beating heart of the humans are too loud. As a result, they kill the innocent people to find the core. Then Toya learned that 5,000 years ago, the barrier was suddenly repaired, and the danger was gone. Toya then asked Ende if he is a good or a bad person. He replied that he is just a guy, who is just trying to get humanity more time by hunting down the Fraz demons. Then Ende said goodbye, and he just said that he is a traveler. Toya was concerned about the new information about the Fraz. He then questioned Rosetta about the frame gear weapon. Toya wanted to copy the weapon against the frame demon, but Rosetta said it isn't possible. The weapon is very difficult to build, and they don't have enough materials to craft the new machines. As a result, Toya decided to track down the other islands of Babylon in order to get hold of the Fraz gear. After that, his pets wanted to support him, and they told Toya about the Red Monarch. Toya learned that the Red Monarch can control thousands of birds. So Kohaku said that the Red Monarch is very nice and a calm monster. However, with the support of Kohaku and his other pet, Toya summoned a new monarch. Then a huge flame bird appeared, with a majesty performance. His pets were happy to see the Red Monarch again. Then Kohaku asked the Red Monarch to make a familiar contract with Toya. Toya was surprised that he didn't want to test him first, so he got a new pet right away. This is how Toya named his new pet, Koyoku. Then Koyoku should use her power, and she ordered the birds to search for the island of Babylon. The birds immediately flew to the sky, and Toya was confident of finding other pieces of Babylon islands.